This is Chuck the Truck Morris, and you're listening to Wrestling Cheers.
Taking your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name.
And welcome back to Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, even if you are completing your rookie year. This is Wrestling Cheers, where we preview shows, review shows, and sometimes have interviews revolving around the Northeast Ohio independent wrestling scene. I am your host. I am Heavy Set, and this is a interview episode, and we will be sitting down with OCW wrestler Chuck the Truck Morris, who is in his rookie year, ending his rookie year actually. And we took a time before a show recently, before the show on the 21st, Tradition 15, and interviewed him, and we had a nice conversation. It's a good 40-minute podcast, good 40-minute interview. So without much further ado, we'll get into that. But there's the important contact information, the important information that you need to know. Wrestling Cheers, please help us out. Rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, and Podbean. WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Facebook.com/WrestlingCheers, Twitter.com/WrestlingCheers, Instagram.com/WrestlingCheers, and email, if you so choose to desire, WrestlingCheers@gmail.com. We got a store at whatamaneuver.net. Pick yourself up a brand new Wrestling Cheers t-shirt. It's just the logo one. We haven't had any brand new designs just yet, but hopefully here in the next month or so, I'll have those up and ready to go. Like I said, this is an interview with Chuck the Truck Morris, and let's get right into it.
This is No Shame Jimmy Shane, and you're listening to the Wrestling Cheers podcast and being a winner.
All right, back here on the podcast, and we are joined with one of the star pupils of Spinebuster University, a prominent member of the OCW roster, one of my favorite members of the OCW roster, kind of partial maybe by the name, but Chuck the Truck Morris. How's it doing, Chuck?
I'm doing really good, Heavy. How are you doing, man? It's a pleasure to be here.
It's great to have you. I should say, what's up, Chuck?
I haven't heard that one before.
Of course. I mean, Chuck, my name's Justin Summers. You know how many times I've heard, just in time for Summers? I'm like, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Heard it. Like, come up with something new.
Yeah, I always get the Chuck Norris comparisons.
I mean, it took me a while to put that together, actually. Cause yeah. I think the whole truck thing is more prominent. It's like, oh yeah, Chuck Morris. Okay. Oh, okay, cool. That's Never thought about that.
That's why I throw the roundhouse kick in there.
So man, you've been wrestling for a year now.
I know, it's hard to believe, man, isn't it?
The first time I seen you was almost a year ago. It was a year ago in June. Appetite for Destruction, I do want to say. It was the final exam match.
Final exam, me, Ely, and Grant. Yeah. It's been a crazy ride, that's for sure. I mean, I gotta say, I feel so lucky to have been able to start off with a company like OCW, have a training school like Spinebuster University, have the guys that I got around me. It's really a surreal experience. This is definitely not where I pictured my life 2 years ago. Around that time, the whole wrestling thing, it was not much more than a pipe dream,
Yeah.
Something that I'd always kind of had in the back of my head. Because I always knew I wanted to be an athlete. I played baseball, I played football, I wrestled in high school. I always knew that I wanted to be an athlete. And even through school, I went to college. I have a business and accounting degree.
Oh, cool.
The last thing I want to do is sit behind a desk for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured, why not take the big shot and follow the one dream that I've always had? And here I am.
How did that start for you with OCW? Did you first start coming to shows or what was
I
it?
met Tank.
Okay,
I started working with Tank at a bar. And it was not much longer after that, maybe 5-6 months. They announced that SBU was going to be opening up a school, and it felt like everything was aligning for like, it's a Chuck, you need to go down this route now or never. And so here I am.
So what was your Tank relationship like with Tank? Because Tank, when it comes to this area, is just one of those guys that is a mentor to a lot of wrestlers. I mean, he was around OCW for many, many years. And even like, I think one of the first shows I almost went to, it was an OCW show that he was obviously at.
Yeah. Tank really meant a lot to OCW. I mean, we've had to bring in multiple guys to kind of try and fill the void from when he left, but from the day I got started all the way up until the end of last year, he was pretty much the guy around here. Whether it was in the ring all the way up to his retirement, behind the scenes, he really did everything that he could to try and build the OCW brand to about to where it is now, and also to set it up to keep growing here in the future. Like, I really respect Tank for everything he's done, and I'll never be able to thank him enough for everything he's done for me.
It's amazing, actually, the past 2 years to see how much like OCW has grown.
Yeah.
Just because I know when I first heard about them and everything, I mean, everything was more with Jeff Cannonball with him. Like, it was more a little bit more southern, like Southern Ohio. And then I know there'd be some shows up here. And then coming up here, getting the OCW arena, such I've put it over a lot, but it's such a beautiful place for wrestling.
Yeah, it's almost like it was made for wrestling to be here, you know? Like the atmosphere, the stands, you know, we have all the extra stuff in for tradition tonight. Even without all that, like, it's still that like a perfect environment. Like, it can't fit thousands of people, but it feels like there are. Yeah. It's such an intimate atmosphere. Like, I was wrestling in another show, I think 2 weeks ago. They drew 1,200 people, and I wouldn't have been able to tell the difference because just the way it sounds, the way it feels, and everything. It's as good as it gets.
And I always say, aesthetically on film, whether it be just pictures or video, like, it looks just outstanding. Because normally you see shows like maybe the one you went to, maybe the one that I've went to recently. It's in a gym. It looks like a gym. It doesn't have a wrestling feel. It's like, okay, there's a ring, there's a crowd, okay, but you get to a place like this, and it's like because that's when I remember when I first seen it was just pictures. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. Yeah. And then when I walked in, I was like, oh, that's really good.
And it didn't really even take it obviously took some work to get it to how it is now. But like, if you look at like the original condition of it, like we didn't really have to change much. We took the basketball hoops down and painted. Yeah. That was like the main job, fixing up the seats. But like, we didn't have to bring stuff in aside from bleachers that we use from time to time for fans.
I'm actually curious to see how that's going to look tonight.
Oh my God, it's going to look amazing. When we were in here training the other night, they had the whole light show going, getting pictures for the Facebook and everything. Oh, it's going to be so great. I cannot wait to see it.
I think that's another thing that just shows you how much OCW has just evolved. Yeah. It's just, like I said, even just going from town to town now to having a home, which I think means so much for independent wrestling, to have a place to call home, to a place wherever you have, even if, you know, you're not necessarily permanent ring like how this is here, but just a place where you know that the local area is always going to be there. Yeah. And also the fact that OCW does go outside of that area from time to time. Like, there was the one in Dalton, Ohio. That was a pretty fun show. I mean, granted, that was a regular gym.
Yeah. That was the one with House Snow.
But that was still a fun show. Yes. Some of the Canton shows have been fun. The bar shows.
My God, I can't wait to go back to Buzzbin.
Yeah, the Buzzbin. That's,
July 20th.
July 20th, yes.
July 20th, and then the next day we're going to be over in Mogador for the Mogador Fair. Okay. On the 21st.
Okay. Yeah. That's news because I hadn't heard that just yet, but
we've done the Mogador Fair.
I didn't know the date for it. Yeah. Okay, so that's why, because I was like, why is OCW running on a Friday? Yeah. That's weird, but you say that, I go, oh, okay. So 2 days in a row of OCW? Yeah. That's fun. And also, that's actually a cool thing, too, the Mogador show. Yeah. That was actually my first OCW show. Okay. It's a nice free show. You know, if you don't like what you see, A, you didn't pay anything, and B, there's fair food. I mean, everybody loves fair food. Yep. what I call it, it's like your bring your own seat show if you want.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you could
pull up the lawn chairs.
Yeah, that's what I started doing. I was like, oh, well, I'll just have my own seat. I can be comfy in my own seat. And it's such a fun and cool thing too with that one. I think that's when, I mean, tell me if this is different from because you're actually a wrestler, whether that gives you a little bit different experience when it comes to fans.
It does, because you don't have 200, however many people that are sitting around for the entire show. You have people coming and going the whole time.
Yeah.
So you always have to be trying to get those people to come in and stay. Try and get as many people to come in and stick around as much as possible. And it's not like we're selling tickets like, hey, we're going to be here, buy your tickets. Everyone's going to come and they're all going to stay there for the whole show, whatever. This is all that has to get, all that's going on. You know, we're trying to almost pull everybody's attention from everything else in a way to say, hey, come watch us, see what we're doing. And then also trying to add to, I guess, the rest of the whole fair.
Yeah, because I think too, you're also pulling in fans who maybe not necessarily wrestling fans, not necessarily OCW fans, and that gives you a different opportunity. Because I remember last year there were some fans that were heckling Derek Direction.
Oh yes,
and that's kind of an opportunity to like be on your feet, and he knew how to fire back at them because I think he pretty much shut them all down. And that's a fun experience. Yeah,
because I was the one that wrestled Derek in that match.
Okay, yeah,
that was actually the first match that I had not with the other guys that I trained with. So hats off to Derek. That was a fun match. I'll tell you that. He is a jerk.
Hey, friend of the show. I'm a good friend of actually, and well, I don't have a zip up, but I'm wearing a production shirt, so Derek's awesome in my book, but I can understand why people don't like him. Anyway, so you work with Tank, you finally come into Spinebuster. What was it like starting off for you? Like just outsider's perspective who hasn't gone through that, because that's actually a really interesting perspective for people. Man,
it was one hell of an experience, let me tell you what, because my first experience ever being in front of like a crowd of people, it's gonna sound weird, it was actually in preschool. It was a Thanksgiving play.
Okay.
And we worked on it. I knew everything I had to do. As soon as show day comes up, all the parents are in the crowd. I lost my mind, started bawling my eyes out, sat with my parents in the crowd for the rest of the time. So going from that to being a professional wrestler in front of hundreds, sometimes thousands of people is definitely not exactly where I thought I would be.
Yeah.
But we were in an article for the Akron Beacon Journal around this time last year, kind of following us up to our debut.
Yeah.
And I told the lady interviewing us the same thing. It's like, it's the most nerve-wracking experience of your life, but the second you break through that curtain, there's no turning back. Oh, yeah. Like you can't have your music hit, you break through the curtain, all the people see you and go, oh crap, and go back through the curtain.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You'll probably get your ass beat. So you get back to get back through the curtain.
Yeah.
But like, I think that's almost kind of what I needed, you know? Like, because before, like, I was always still, like, kind of had that stage fright. Like, I don't want to go out there in front of people because I didn't necessarily have to. But now I'm here, I'm in it. That music hits, I gotta go.
Yeah.
So I have no choice but to feel it, to get into it, and I love absolutely every second of it. There's nothing else I'd rather do.
What was the training like? And, like, coming in, like, for the first day for that?
I was a little confident, I won't lie, because I always like when it came to like athletic tests, like lifting, agility drills, things like that, I always did pretty well. Like whether it was in college, high school, whatever sport we were doing, I normally did pretty well with that kind of stuff. So like as like an athletic test, I wasn't that worried about it, but I was like, I do not want to screw this up. I do not want to be the guy that does not get picked to be in this class, because it's a tryout. You have to pass the tryout in order to get chosen to be part of the school. Okay. Like it's not like you just show up, you pay your money, and you can call yourself a pro wrestler now. It's definitely not how it is. But it wasn't quite like the horror stories you hear like from guys like Flair. Stories you hear from guys like Hennig about like when they would train with Vern Gagne, and day one they have to run 10 miles, do thousands of squats before you can even get in the ring. Like I thank God it wasn't like that. But it's definitely a physically and very, very much mentally taxing experience. There's so much more mental that goes behind the wrestling than it is physical.
Yeah.
It is so much of a like it'll tie your brain into a knot and throw it back at you, trying to figure something out sometimes.
With all that being said, like, what's your favorite part now?
It's one thing like when you break through, you see all these strangers and all these other people, but like the first thing I do when I break through the curtains, I look for my family.
Okay.
I know who's come to the show, so I know who to expect. So whenever I'm making my entrance, I'm slapping kids' hands and whatever. I'm looking around. I'm trying to see where my family is, so I can see how excited they are to see me out there living my dream. You know?
Yeah.
Because like ever since I started with this, I mean, he obviously told me a lot before, but he tells me every time he sees me, my dad tells me he's so proud of me.
Oh yeah.
Just seeing me putting my neck out on the line and doing everything I can to accomplish my childhood goals, you know, and just having that feeling, man, it really pushes me to keep going. And then there's the whole aspect of I'm out there, I'm making all these people that have probably never even seen me before.
Yeah.
And outside of this context, they'll never see me again, probably. Or if they do, they won't recognize me.
Yeah.
And like I can make an impact on these people.
Yeah.
You know, in the long run, like just like guys had on me. Like I remember the match. I remember I was watching with my dad, and this is the match that I remember where I was like, you know, maybe this is something I could do. Is The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin from WrestleMania 15.
Okay.
Main event. They're brawling all over the outside. I believe it was like the first time people had started kicking out of the rock bottom and the stunner at this time. So it was like the way that they sucked me in and made me invest emotionally into it. Like that is such a powerful feeling, like to be able to do that with the fans that we have coming in. And if I can do that and make a positive impact on people in the long run, then I'm 100% happy doing what I'm doing.
And your dad's a pretty cool dude.
Yeah.
Like he's like, of all the dads I've met, he's like definitely one of my favorites. And actually I was lucky, I think a couple shows ago, like your mom and dad both sat by me and my girlfriend. So that was like really cool to like sit there and have a little conversation with them and everything. And
he looks like he should have been here a long time ago before me. I look like I should be a second generation wrestler.
Yeah. He's such a big dude.
Once you see him, he makes me look small, and I'm not that small.
There needs to eventually be like a dream tag team match where he gets to do like one match, because he just looks like you said, like he was a wrestler.
Just tosses someone over the top rope into the crowd or something. You never know.
Did he have like the same athletic background as you?
No, he actually wasn't an athlete at all. Like after his freshman year, he wasn't playing any sports. He quit football. Like you've met him. My dad is 6'4", and at his biggest, he was like close to 350 pounds. He's about 280 now.
Wow.
But when he graduated high school, he was about 6'4" and 150 pounds.
Oh,
and he ended up going into the military. That's where he discovered started getting like bodybuilding, lifting, a little bit of like amateur wrestling kind of stuff, but nothing too serious.
Yeah.
But I do know that like when I was a kid, he almost had the opportunity to break in like I did, but just the timing of everything wasn't there. So I guess part of me doing this is part of him doing it too.
It must have him living vicariously through you in this situation.
Yeah.
Which is pretty awesome, because even I've said before, there's like a few standouts for me when it came to the Spinebuster class from last year, and you being one of them. And I feel like on most fields, you're ahead of the other ones. Like I've often complimented you on your social media presence, because the rest have little to none.
Yeah.
And that's something I wish someone would get better on.
I think Gino has a Twitter now.
Really?
Yeah, I think he followed me yesterday.
I'll have to double check, because I don't know if he followed if he followed Wrestling Cheers.
Yeah.
With yesterday being a show day, like there's always like extra stuff going on, and I didn't see it. But
yeah, who knows? I'm the only one that's had a social media presence for like over the last year. So
yeah.
And that's just having an account for the most part.
Well, I always felt like you do more about it.
Yeah.
Like there's some that might have it, but they only interact every so once in a while. I'm kind of like
I don't very often post like my own things, but I'll definitely post like updates of where I'm going to be, where you can see me, all that stuff.
Because that's actually another thing you're outside of this area.
Yes.
Well, as an OCW.
A little bit.
I'm saying like OCW because the one down in Mansfield.
ASWA, yeah.
ASWA. And you did Rise, right?
I did not do Rise. I was there, but that was Ely that wrestled.
Okay. You were supposed to though, right?
No.
What's that?
We wrestled with Quaker City Wrestling earlier that day.
Maybe that's what I was thinking.
And then it was me, Jimmy Shane, and Jake Ely all rode out to Pittsburgh. They both wrestled. I stuck around. I was hopeful.
Yeah.
You never know when someone won't show up. You always have your gear with you. But unfortunately, it was not to be that night. But Quaker City Wrestling, I've been there. ASWA. And War Wrestling out in Lima. I've done a couple battle royals out there. Haven't had the chance to have a singles match on one of their main shows yet, but you never know. I try and pop in over there at least to hang out and help out as much as I can. So hopefully I can get myself on one of their shows soon.
Yeah, because War is kind of like, I don't want to say it's a sister promotion because it's not like that closely. I would say it's like the cousin promotion because I've always felt there's you always see a lot of names go back and forth between them. Like like Jimmy's been out there a lot.
Jimmy's out there a lot. Juice used to be out there a lot. Robbie used to be out there a lot. Tank used to be out there a lot.
Other names that I know that came through here used to be out there a lot.
Jeremy Madrox.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble thinking of some others.
Ernie Balls.
Ernie Balls. But say if you look at the posters we have out in the actual arena with the ones with the guys on them, half of those guys have been at War.
Jock Sampson,
Bruce Gray.
Yep.
True Grit.
But you're definitely making your name out there a lot more, which is like every time I see someone like you, because it actually seems to be you and Gino a lot more. Because the Mansfield, I always mess up their name because it's them and because they're what is it again? ASWA, and the one now in Cleveland is UXWA.
Okay.
And there's also
sounds pretty similar.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, whoa, which one was that? But like when I saw like you guys were on like one or two of the shows, I'm like, that's cool. I like seeing those. We've
been going out to those shows. At least me, Gino's been coming out more often lately since he's been going with us.
Yeah.
But probably the last year and a half, we're going out to the ASWA shows either with Tank or with the other guys, just helping out. They occasionally use our ring for their shows.
Yeah.
So like we're there to make sure everything gets set up right and everything with our ring. So just being out there, just shaking everybody's hand, having everybody recognize me after a while. Whenever they find a spot, they'll throw you in there. So,
I mean, that's the thing. You've been only doing it for right now a year.
Yeah.
And I feel like as much as you've done in a year, that's a good start. Yeah. That's definitely a good start.
Yeah, at this point, that's the best way for me to go out and find other bookings.
Yeah.
Is to just show up, have people remember my face, and hopefully next time if they have a spot open, they'll give me a call.
Yeah.
Because I definitely know I'm not to the point where I'm going to have people blowing me up like, hey, you're Chuck the Truck Morris. You want to come wrestle here?
Yeah.
Like... I'd love to be at that point, but I'm not stupid or hot-headed enough to think that I am.
I mean, I've just even from a fan's perspective, I've witnessed, some of those wrestlers. So, like, for example, Derek. Yeah. I watched him, like, wrestle in a couple promotions, but he was always going to AIW, like, help sell merch for, like, Ricky Shane Page or some other people. Mm-hmm. And then eventually they were like, hey, we kind of have a good spot for you. Like, but that's something that it takes time.
Production.
Yeah. So I know that should just take, and just to watch them, like even the Kogars. I fuck up their name every time, but they were that's another team I've watched just pop up here, there, everywhere.
Yeah,
and it's
that's another team that we've used before. They were in our tag team tournament that Robbie and Ryan won last year. They were unfortunately didn't make it to the finals, but they definitely did pretty well. And then we saw them at QCW, and you can obviously tell like they were pretty good the first time I saw them, and you can definitely see that's definitely a team that's improved like in spades all around. Like
they're one
that
of the
that is a team that people want to see.
That was one of the few teams that like I think as a fan I was like they're building their brand.
Yeah.
because they put more like emphasis in a lot of that stuff. Even just like stuff at the merch table. It's like they have their own
videos that they do.
Oh yeah, there's the videos, their own special graphic design that they do. Yeah. They have special things that they put up by their merch table, like with their logo and everything, and their social media. So people, I'm just like, that's some dedication you don't see everywhere.
I need to make more money outside of wrestling so I can start doing that stuff.
Trust me, that's the game of life.
Yeah.
Even not even wrestling. For me, it's more just podcasting.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I like to do that. I need to make I need to make more money so I can do this, or so I can buy that.
I need a fancy merch stand.
You need to get more shirts. I mean,
do.
I know it's out of here because I love that original one.
Oh, I have them with me. I'm a little low on the larges and XLs right now, but I got the rest.
Like the one that's just the truck. Which because that's the one you said. You told me
that was my cousin had those. Had like 10 or 15 of those made for my family for my first show.
I love those.
Oh my god, those were great because they pretty much made them exactly like the shirt that I wear in the ring.
Yeah.
So like this whole experience. Sometimes looking back on it, it's still hard to believe.
Yeah.
I can't believe that I could sit here and I can say that I've been working as a professional wrestler for a year.
Yeah.
Like childhood me loves me right now.
Like as long as we're kind of like mentioning merch, like what do you have like any merch ideas in mind? Like I mean, I'd figure every wrestler has something that they want to do.
Obviously, first off, I've been exploring the idea, or me and Jake have been exploring the idea of getting some Electruck Company shirts.
Yeah.
Some tag team merchandise. Trucker hats maybe. Like trucker related memorabilia.
Yeah.
Maybe a keychain, like one of the little plastic molded ones with my logo on it. I think that'd be sweet.
That would be good. Cheap and I think there's a lot of people that go for the like, oh, keychain, cool. Like I have $5. Like let me spend $5 and
it's something small. And I feel like there are a lot of things like wrestling has a stigma. Like if it's a T-shirt, someone's like, oh, that's a wrestling shirt. Ooh, you're weird or something. Like no, it's a wrestling shirt. Who cares? Like I knew kids like that when I was growing up. Like they would make fun of me for wearing wrestling shirts. Like why shouldn't I be a wrestling fan? Mm-hmm. Like so I can kind of understand why people may stray away from other things and go for something smaller, something a little more nondescript, like the keychain or something.
Yeah,
it's just a little logo.
Oh yeah,
you don't have to know what it is.
Well, even the era that we're in, just if you look at the merchandise game across the board, you'll see that there's people out there that are doing like different things. Like I mean, one of the big examples right now is Bullet Club. Yeah, just like granted, they have the money to do all that. But I'll watch other people, even like Colt Cabana for a long time. He was doing, buttons, keychains, like just all these other things. And for some people, it works. Like for me, like one thing that I want to do for Wrestling Cheers, I want to get beer koozies made. Ooh. Because it makes so much sense. I mean, granted, I have to find a printer to do it and get an estimate. I wouldn't sell them. I would give them out just as free promotional stuff. Mm-hmm. Because I think, Wrestling Cheers, just beer koozie, put a beer in there, boom, cheers. Like that. This makes so much sense.
It fits so well.
Kind of like your gimmick.
Yes.
Technically fits me too. That's another thing I think that really pulled me towards it. I was just like, oh, he's got a truck gimmick. I'm a trucker.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that until after you had probably done like 3 or 4 reviews on our shows. Like, he actually drives a truck, right? I'm like, what?
And then I had fun. Like I corrected you. You kept doing the right hand.
Yeah.
And then I was like, when you're driving, it's on the left side. And you're like, oh, because here's what I think it is. Normally, you're as a kid and everything, you're in the passenger seat. Yeah. You look up and see the truck driver, so you want to show him. So right hand is like, hey, do it. But he's doing the left hand. He's doing the left hand. The funny thing is too, the first company that I was with, they didn't have their air horns up there. It was actually on the steering wheel.
Oh, really?
So I'd have a regular like city horn that went beep beep, but I'd have a heavier one that was a button. Okay. And like people would go, and I'm like, button. Like, sorry.
Trying to act like you're pulling the string down.
So I had to be like, all right, here's still the sound. Like, but yeah, no, I got you on that one, and I think there was a couple, like, I had a couple ideas. I can't remember any.
Hammer lane.
Hammer lane, yeah.
It was the fast lane at first, but semis don't really move overly fast. And if they do, they're bringing the hammer.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, well, granted, at the same time, too, if depending on the truck and everything, this is more like the technical talk of it. I know, like, my truck goes 65 miles an hour. That's maximum. Yeah. Like, I can't go any faster. Granted, there's other trucks out there that even will go by me and also going up hills. I'm just getting into boring trucker stuff that just don't be assholes to me while I'm on the road. That's all I say.
Like, you obviously see me. Don't cut me off. Don't.
Oh, no, I could get into rants.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like, my favorite thing is, right when winter comes, everybody's like, people need to learn how to drive. I'm like, people don't know how to drive in July. Why do you think January is any different? Like, I think one friend was like, oh, I seen this many accidents on the way to work. I'm like, I seen 2 cars on fire one day, like, on the same highway, like within an hour of each other. And granted, those are 2 rare occasions, but the fact they happen the same day, go in the same direction, thankfully opposite of me, and I was like, wow, bad day.
Yeah, I think it was within the last week I was on the highway and there was a car like way, like 10, 15 yards off the road in a ditch. Not even rainy or anything out. Just
exactly.
Perfectly nice sunny day. Drove into a ditch.
Yeah, people notice it for some reason during the winter, but never like when it's really nice out. They're like, oh, okay. But when it's snow, it's like, oh, you don't know how to drive in snow.
No, I don't even drive that much, and I hate other drivers.
That's ironic. Your name is the truck, and you don't drive much.
Well, me physically,
okay,
I'm always driving places. But the truck doesn't like to operate other trucks.
I think it's funny, too, your tattoo, because now I'm looking at it. Because I've seen it before, and that was obviously, had to be before wrestling.
Yes.
For those who've never seen Chuck, it's kind of a robotic arm, and then it's like breaking through the skin type thing, so it looks like a robotic arm.
Yeah. It's actually the Terminator endoskeleton.
That's what I figured.
Yeah. So it's the skin over it's getting shredded off, and there's muscle fiber underneath of it. The black and white part of it I got started like 3-4 years ago, and then never had the chance to get finished. And then after Christmas this past year, I finally got the red and the muscle fiber all added into it to get it finished off.
Yeah.
So
it pops really well.
Thank you, and it matches my color scheme, luckily.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I think it matches the gimmick. Granted, you're not the Terminator, but a truck is a machine.
Yeah.
Like, and you're kind of a machine too. So I think it goes so well. Like, I think it took me a while to like put 2 and 2 together. I'm like, oh, that's actually works really well.
Even being with Ely, robots, they run on electricity. So
that's true. So he needs to get some like lightning bolt tattoos.
Yeah, something. Oh, he's got something in store for tonight. Let me tell you what. He's gonna be probably making people forget about me. At least till we hit the ring, man. He's gonna be decked out in the 9s tonight. It's gonna be real awesome. I can't wait.
I kind of wish tonight was a Marvel theme because I think he could be Thor.
Come out with the Mjolnir.
Yeah,
nice.
Him being electric, lightning.
What would that make me then?
Winter Soldier.
Ooh.
I'm saying it kind of because of the arm.
Yeah, that makes sense. I figured that'd be Jimmy because it's he could be the Winter Soldier.
The Winter Soldier. Okay.
Yeah, I can't take credit for that one. That's all Jimmy.
Then okay, who would be Captain America? Would Gino be Captain Italy?
I don't think Gino can't be on the Gino can't. I don't know. Gino's almost like he's running around with Thanos somewhere. Thanos paid him off to go do his dirty work.
So I would say he's Loki, but I think someone else is Loki.
I don't want to give Grant that much credit.
That's what I was thinking. I was just like, who could be Loki? I'm like, oh. So that means Jake and Grant are brothers.
I can kind of see that dynamic with them.
Adopted.
Yeah, obviously.
Adopted. So maybe Robbie could be.
I like Robbie as Captain America. He's got the stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably go with Robbie as Captain America.
Who would be Iron Man? I know, well, like I thought of
if the Winter Soldier's not going to work for me, then Iron Man's probably the closest with the arm. Outside of that, I always like the Hulk too.
Yeah, I guess you could be Hulk.
Yeah.
Even though he's not good, If we're gonna put anybody at the Hulk, it's got to be Tanu.
Yeah.
There's no fighting that. That's
I wish the Punisher was in the Avengers because that's who I would definitely pick.
Yeah.
Because like if you look at my truck logo, it's Punisher inspired.
Yeah.
Like the white in the middle is shaped like the Punisher skull, and then it has the rest of the truck coming out around it. So
I actually have a Punisher wrestling mask somewhere. Ooh. I bought it because I thought it looked really cool, and it does. Like the eyes are mesh, so you can't actually see through the eyes. The teeth come down over the mouth, so you can't really see the mouth. The nose just pops out, so you can't really see the nose. It's pretty badass.
That sounds pretty badass. I need to up my wrestling memorabilia game. I don't have a whole lot right now. I've some of my old action figures and stuff from when I was a kid, but in terms of like actually having a collection, mine's pretty poor. Like I feel like I need something wrestling outside of actually wrestling to kind of like I don't know, balance me out. Not so I'm like somewhere down the middle.
Yeah.
Not like I'm too much into the wrestling to where I can't enjoy it, but I'm not enjoying it too much to where I'm not focused on what I'm doing.
Yeah. I'm trying to think with me, like what I have that's really cool. A couple autograph stuffs. I know that's pretty much some of my highlights. I got Brett and Shawn autograph stuff.
Oh, nice.
And of course, when you say like figures you had when you grew up, it's a lot different than the figures I had when I grew up.
Yeah.
Because if I had to hear like, oh, this is the first figure I had, I'd be like,
oh,
I'm old.
When I was a kid, my uncle he had like the I forget what they're called, but it's like the all rubber ones.
LJN.
Yep, the LJNs. He had Hogan, Bruno, Piper, almost all of them.
There's a lot. Just actually, I watched a couple YouTube videos on them recently.
He even had like a ring to go with it.
Yeah,
like with the elastic ropes and everything. It was awesome. That was like my favorite toy when I was a kid. When I would go to my grandma's house, that's what I would do all day long. I would just play with the LJN guys.
Yeah, I had more of the Hasbros.
Okay.
Like especially like recently when they have these like basically they're supposed to be Hasbros but they're made by Mattel. Love them. Like I bought a Kevin Owens one. I bought an Ultimate Warrior one because actually one of the Hasbro Ultimate Warriors is one of my favorites because he's just like so jacked and everything. Like as a kid, I'm like, this guy looks so awesome.
He as a person was an action figure. Like he had the action figure body that all the wrestlers get.
Yeah,
they just based it on the Ultimate Warrior and just stuck that on a plastic mold.
Yeah,
it was like back in the day, even like the Big Show would have like the bodybuilder body. Like,
yeah,
somehow
it's like this doesn't add up.
8-pack abs and pecs. Like he's not in terrible shape, but he doesn't look like that.
Yeah,
I have a Kurt Angle with hair.
It's weird how like that looks now.
Oh, I know.
Because like I'll go back and watch old videos and I go, I remember when bald Kurt Angle was new, and now
I remember when bald was weird.
Yeah, now I see him with hair like old. I'm like, that's just man. He does look better bald.
It probably birthed one of my favorite gimmicks, the whole toupee with the headgear, though.
Yo, yeah.
Oh man, I love watching him freak out about that. Angle as a comedic character was so subtle, but it was so awesome.
Mm-hmm. Very underrated on that aspect. Because like when people think Kurt Angle, you think more technical. Yeah. You don't think comedy, but he had some of the funniest memories or moments in wrestling.
Cowboy hat.
The tiny cowboy hat coming out to a milk truck.
Yep, the milk truck. That's the next thing I was going to say.
I feel like that's one of the well-known things he's known for outside of his wrestling ability.
Yeah.
And then he, like the bad guy, the heel that he played to begin with was the tongue-in-cheek good guy. Yeah, well, like he was like, I'm such a good guy.
Yeah.
That you hate me. And he always went over the top with things.
Yeah.
Even as a bad guy, it was so good.
Oh, so stereotypical almost. It was so great. I loved it.
And then even when he came back, he still had like good like one-liners, like trying to understand like where wrestling has been, like where WWE had been since he's returned. Like I remember the stuff with Enzo and Cass. Like I think he said this. He's like, that's not how you so soft.
What is? Oh, now he's just like everybody's like prototypical dad.
Pretty much.
Like when he came out in the Shield gear, he looked like he was the proudest dad in the world.
I look at more as there's that one Simpsons character, Ralph Wiggum.
Yes.
Because there's a picture of Ralph Wiggum like putting his hands up, like they put his head over it, like it looks like yay, I get to do this.
I think there's a new meme going around. It's like, I'm in danger.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the back of the bus. Yeah.
Oh, that one's good. But yeah, that was Kurt Angle's comedy to a T almost.
Oh yeah.
Like the almost oblivious.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, Angle is definitely a guy that I like to look back on and try and learn some stuff, especially technically wise. Like the kind of British style, really technical stuff. Like that's always kind of caught my eye. Even though like I have a lot to work on when it comes to doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, but the way it flows and how fluid it looks, oh, it's so. I don't know how people don't like that kind of wrestling. Just like it because it's so different, even though it's the same thing.
Yeah. So who's your favorite wrestler of all time?
Oh man, all time. I mean, there's obviously like your Austins, your Rocks, but for me, looking back, it's got to be Ric Flair.
I thought you were gonna say Diesel.
Like, don't get me wrong, I love Kevin Nash. I love Diesel. Actually, when I was a kid, my dad would try and convince me that he was actually Diesel.
Okay. I think you told me that, but yeah.
Like, he had the goatee. He used to have long hair, almost as long as I do. Like, and his hair is black. It's not kind of brownish like mine is. So, like, when he said that, especially, like, just seeing Diesel on the TV and knowing how big my dad actually was, I was like, yep, he's Diesel. All right. My dad's Diesel. But I mean, I do love Kevin Nash. Like or at least I tried to do Jackknife at the basket brawl at the Civic Center.
Okay.
But Argos went for the eyes, and we all know how that went.
Yeah.
But I've actually been watching like some Kevin Nash and tests lately, trying to pick some things up, some bigger guy stuff. Yeah. But like the whole package, going back, it's got to be Ric Flair. The how he could just have the audience in the palm of his hand.
Yeah.
Like almost the second that he came out in front of the people. Like at the snap of a finger, he could either make them hate you or he could make them love you, and he could make anybody look like they were the best wrestler on the planet on any particular night. Yeah. And if I can do that, like if I can build that, even half of that kind of respect up for what I do, then I think I'll be able to look back on my career and be pretty satisfied. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just to be able to, like, when I look back at my matches, like, yeah, I didn't win I may not have won the championships, may not have gotten as far as I wanted to go, but like the rest of the boys, like they respected me for the work that I do, how I make them look, or however it is. That's kind of what I'm looking for in the end. Yeah. You know?
All right, let's wrap this up. Any final thoughts, last minute plugs, anything you want to throw out there to everybody?
Tonight we have Tradition 15 going on. You guys will hear about those results here soon, I'm sure. So hopefully when you guys listen to me talk, you'll be listening to me as one of the new OCW Tag Team Champions. Let's see, April 28th, reaching the summit with Honor Fighting Championships, Micro Championship Wrestling. The Buck Naked Band will be performing. OCW is going to be there. That's next weekend. The Summit County Fairgrounds in Talmadge. Next OCW show, I believe, is May 19th. It'll be here at the arena. Or the next arena show for OCW will be here. And then we will start getting into our summer schedule. I'll be in ASWA again. Looking hopefully to be at QCW for their next show, May 27th. That'll be out in Salem. Other than that, you can find me on Facebook at Chuck the Truck Morris. Twitter at the Truck 59, and Instagram at Chuck the Truck 59. So I always post what's going on with me. Sometimes Jake Ely if we're tagging together. So if you're looking to find me wrestling somewhere, you know where to find me.
All right, thanks, Chuck.
All right, thank you, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dark Star Matt Taylor, and you are listening to Wrestling Cheers.
And there you have it, Chuck the Truck Morris from OCW and Spinebuster University. Once again, a big thank you that I forgot to do this at the beginning of the show. Big thank you and shout out to OCW for allowing me to come backstage and do 2 interviews actually during Tradition 15. You'll hear the next one maybe next week, but if not next week, the week after that. I got some couple things going on behind the scenes of stuff we're trying to do here at Wrestling Cheers, so just won't get all into all of that right now. But let's wrap this show up. And please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, and Spotify. WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Facebook.com/WrestlingCheers, Twitter.com/WrestlingCheers, Instagram.com/WrestlingCheers, and email if you so choose. It's WrestlingCheers@gmail.com. We have a store at whatamaneuver.net, and please check out all of our podcasting friends, such as All Beer Inside, Eurovision Showcase, Legends on Siren Radio, Old School at the Movies, and Chill, and the 450 podcast. Check out all our other podcasting friends, such as Chris Clem's Cavscast, Wingcast, a Wingman podcast with Steve Guy, Let the Hate Flow Through You with Jeremy Shear and El Hordano Diablo, Pod Van Dam, The Road Home from Wrestling, Thrift Store Jobber, Rebel Life Media, NEO Sports Insiders, and the official graphic designer of Wrestling Cheers, Moy Boy Designs. That will do it for us here on Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, even if you were unsuccessful at becoming one half of the OCW Tag Team Champions. More on that soon. Later.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Would you like to get away?